Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Hope you're doing well today. Hope your weekend has been great so far. Now, today in this video, we're going to be reviewing a bow that I have had my eye on for a long time, about a year now. And I actually passed up the opportunity to purchase this bow when I made the purchase of my Galaxy longbow. Now, this one, again, I've been looking at for some time, and I was fortunate enough to find myself in a position where I could purchase this bow and give it a test and shoot it and just have some fun with it. And here she is. The Black Hunter Recurve Bow. Again, I know I'm a little late to the dance on this one because there's a lot of videos about the Black Hunter Recurve and the Black Hunter longbow. But again, I wanted to test it out for myself, see what I thought about it, see how it compared to another entry-level bow that I've got, my Samick Sage, and just see if it was just as good or better or maybe not as good as my other bows in my collection. So we're going to get this thing unboxed, we're going to get it put together, get it strung up, and more importantly, we're going to go shoot this bow, and I'll tell you my thoughts about it as we go along. And we're going to get into that right now. Now, the bow itself just comes in the old plain brown box like most of them do. But once you open the box up, what you'll notice is you've got all your components here. You got your riser, have your limbs, of course you got the string that comes with it and the little tool to put the limbs on. You get a hair rest of some sort. I think I'll use this because, I don't know, we'll give it a try. But there's something missing. There's no pamphlet, there's no paper, there's no anything that tells you what you would need to set this bow up at the recommended brace height, or what the materials used to make the bow are. It's nothing, there's nothing in there. And I checked, I even looked in the additional packaging that the bow came in, but it came just like this. So we're gonna have to rely on the trusty internet to find all that information that we need to get this bow set up properly when it comes to the string and the brace height. Now, right out of the gate, the limbs look good. I guess this is the top limb because there's no writing on it. Normally the bow weight and length are going to go on the bottom limb. And these are phenolic reinforced tips. I don't know though, I'm going to compare these to my Samick Sage. I'm not real sure just how thick these limbs actually are, but we're going to check that out. And again, I'm going to have to look this up to see exactly what it's made out of. Yep, there we go. There are the designations of the bow. It's 45 pound at 28 inches. Now this is a 60-inch bow that I know from the description I looked at online. Overall, the limb looks pretty solid. I'm just inspecting real quick for dings and dents and different things like that. Now the one thing that I do notice right out of the gate is these are drilled for a pin. I don't think the riser has limb pockets, so that pin is going to be crucial whenever you mount your limbs on your riser to keep it from moving around and keep it in a steady, straight position. So overall, the limbs look really good on this bow. I don't see any damage with them. And again, they're phenolic reinforced. I don't know though, I'm thinking about, do I need to put a fast flight string on this bow? I think I'm just going to make my own Dacron B55 string to go on here to begin with, just to see how it shoots. But overall, it looks pretty solid, feels solid in the hand. I don't see any kind of delamination in here or up through the limb all the way to the tip, so I think we're going to be okay there. But let's get the riser out and let's see what we've got there. Very nice. The riser is very nice. We're going to measure this and see how long it is. Again, it didn't come with instructions, or it didn't come with any kind of documentation, rather. You don't need instructions, you just need documentation. But the riser is very nice. I think that's, just looking at this riser, it looks like it's going to be about a 15-inch riser, but we'll measure it and we'll see and we'll make sure. But overall, man, it feels solid. Now, like I was saying on the limb just a few seconds ago, they are drilled out for a pin, and here's your pins right here, as you can see. So that's going to be, hopefully that's going to hold that limb in there very nice. And the cool thing about this is there's already felt or some felt-like material on where the limbs are going to mount, which is nice. That'll add some silencing to that. Fits in the hand very nicely. As you can see, it's pretty much contoured right there, almost like a pistol grip. And it's got a nice little flat spot here for the palm of your hand to fit right in there. And if you look right on this side, there's a little indent for your thumb to fit in there. So very comfortable riser, very nice. It's got a little bit of heft to it. not light, so it does have a little bit of heft to it. I'm still not sure what material this is made out of. So let me look that up and let's see what the bow is actually constructed out of so I can give you some of the specs on it, and that way you'll know. You know, that's the beauty of the internet. You can find anything you need and it's right at your fingertips any time of the day. So it says that the riser itself is made of diamond wood. Recommended brace height is 7.5 inches to 8 inches. So that's a small window for your recommended brace height. This is a 60 AMO bow. So that'll give me what I need when I go to make my own string. The limbs are bamboo core with black fiberglass. So, heard a lot of good things about bamboo core limbs. We'll see if that holds true on this. We're gonna see. Now, I have seen some reviews with this bow where the limb tips don't hold up, but again, I don't know what the people were doing when they were shooting the bow. I don't know if they were shooting too light an arrow or if they dry fired or any of those things. And it could have been just a manufacturer's defect. And that happens from time to time. But we're going to try this out and see. So 15-inch riser length. That's almost comparable to what I have here on my yep. So that's almost what I've got there on my Galaxy longbow, is a 15-inch riser. But this feels a lot more beefy, and I think this is going to take any limb vibration that is thrown at it from it going back to static state after you shoot the arrow and dissipate any hand shock that may be in this bow, if any. I don't know if there's going to be any or not. So let's get the limbs on and let's get it strung up and see what it looks like. And then go take a few shots and see how it shoots. And then I'll give you some thoughts on it. I want to compare it to my Samick Sage that I have here too. Overall, I mean, just first look and just aesthetics of it, you know, and how it feels, especially this riser. I can't get over how this riser feels. It's not heavy, but it feels dense, if that makes sense to you. So I feel like it's going to be a decent shooting bow, but the only way to know that is to put it together and go shoot it. So let's get the limbs on it and let's see how it does. And there it is, all together. We just got to get the string on it and see how it does. I'm going to measure that string just to make sure that I make the right length. But we're going to use the stock string that came with it. But first we got to address this. We need to put the hair material on the riser itself. See if we can get that to secure on there. The shelf's got a very nice radius to us. The only thing that's going to be a little bit of a challenge is going to be here, where we're going to put the pad on to keep the arrow from rubbing against this part, because that's contoured as well, and then it's got that curve right down here at the very bottom of it. So that may be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we can do it. So it comes with this hair material. I don't know how long it's going to last, how well it's going to hold up. It seems to be of good quality. There's nothing really that tells you what this is. Just trying to figure out right now which way the grain is going on this, because you want your arrow to go with the grain, not against the grain. So let's I think would be good. I think it's going this way. So I would mount it on the bow as such. Take just a little bit out of this. So I think I'm happy with that right there. Yep. It's going in the proper direction, so I think I'm good. Okay, so let's get this put on now. And I don't know how well this is going to stay adhered to this, but we're gonna try it out. If nothing more, you can always take it off and put on some Velcro or the rest material of your choice. Alrighty, there she is. I have the rest material attached, and I think we get the string on her. She's ready to go. All right, let's put some twists in it. Initial was right at 7 inches. It needs to be between 7.5 and 8. I think I'm gonna take it up to the maximum. Now, the thing about this is this string is not gonna stay on here long. I like to make endless loop strings now, and I think they have their place, but for me, I love the Flemish twist. I just think on any of your recurve bows, I think they perform better. Let's check it. A little bit more. If you don't have a bow stringer, pick you one up. They're cheap. They're good insurance for your bows. You don't want to take a chance on damaging, warping, tearing up your limbs. Plus, they're just super convenient and easy. All right, we should be getting close to 8 there. I can't wait to make a string for this thing, man. That's one of the coolest things. Well, one of my more favorite things to do is make strings for my bows. And I've wasted a lot of material making strings over the years, but I do enjoy doing it. All right, let's get it strung back up again. All right, we're right at 8, so I think we're good there. We're gonna keep it at 8 inches. So, here she is put together. You can feel that 45 pounds. I would just, I don't know if that's 45 pounds or not. Now I know they've had some, I don't want to call them manufacturing issues, but more really identifying the limb weights more than anything, and getting those right. I've heard some issues with that. I may have to see what that one actually measures out at, put it on my scale, just see what it comes up to. But overall, that feels to me, man, that feels more like a 50-pound bow. That's a lot more than 45 pounds. I'd be surprised if that's not even like a 55-pound. I'm definitely gonna have to test that because that's a lot more weight than what I'm used to. Not to say it's a bad thing, but it's a lot more weight than what I'm used to. All right, so let's put a knock on it and let's see. I wanna see what the draw weight of this thing is. That's not 45 pounds. I guarantee you that's not 45 pounds. I will be surprised if it is. All right, so I was able to test the weight of the bow, the draw weight of the bow, and it confirmed my suspicions that this was heavier than 45 pounds. This bow actually is 50 pounds of draw at 28 inches. That concerns me a little bit. One, because the arrows that I shoot are gold tip 500 spines, and by the gold tip calculator, and again, I know spine calculators are really just a recommendation to get you started, but the recommended spine for a 50 to 55 pound bow is going to be in the 400 range. I don't have 400 spine gold tips. So I'm going to take a few shots with the ones that I do have, and again, I'm going to cheat that a little bit because I don't want the bow to explode on me. I'm going to shoot one of my normal ones with the 50 grain insert, 125 grain up front. Then I'm going to shoot another 500 spine, same 50 grain insert, but this is a 145, I think it's a 150 or 175, one of those two. The markings have come off, so I've had these so long. Just to see if that makes a difference on that. And I've also got an Easton aluminum. This is a, what is this? This is a 2013. And then I checked the Easton chart, and what they recommend for a 50 to 55 pound bow are these, the Easton 2219. Now these are aluminum arrows. Now I know it does have the, it does have the plastic fletching on it. It's okay for this purpose because I'm not in a hunting situation or really trying to do any target practice with it. I'm just testing the bow. But I do have some feather fletchings I can strip these off and put on there. I've got a couple of these lying around, so I'll have to set them up. But I'm going to see how it shoots. Again, if you're new to archery and you are shooting, and one of the things that I can tell you that you really need to be mindful of is what you're actually shooting in your bow when it comes to your arrow weight, your arrow spine. You want to make sure that you're using the correct weight or spined arrows for your bow, especially when you get into a situation like this, when it's more poundage than what you were expecting. You really need to do some research and make sure you're shooting that right, because what can happen is if you shoot too light an arrow or an arrow that's not spined right for the bow, one, you could make the arrow explode. Two, if you're not shooting enough weight through a heavier poundage, what's going to happen is it's the same as a dry fire. And I think this is a theory, my theory alone, that whenever you are, the reviews I've seen where the limb tips have been damaged or it's delaminated or some of those things has happened to these bows in the reviews, I think that may be the issue, where they're shooting the wrong spined arrow or the wrong weight arrow for the bow. But again, I think that's on the manufacturer, because you need to really be specific or be very detailed. If you say it's a 45-pound bow, it should be a 45-pound bow when you send it out. So again, I think that's a flaw, and that could be just a QC on the part of the manufacturer before they send these things out. But I'm gonna take a few shots and give you my final thoughts of the bow, and then we'll wrap this video up. So we're gonna start with a normal arrow that I normally shoot with my 40 to 45 pounds, and we're gonna take some shots down here. I'm about 10 yards away, I'm not far at all. Again, hopefully you can hear this. And again, I'm not gonna shoot these very often. This is kind of, I'm really hesitant to do this, but I wanna test it out to make sure, just to see if it will actually shoot these arrows. Yep, see, it's way off on that. All right, so I'm gonna shoot the 500 spine with the 150, 175 tip up front and see if this does any better. At least it's on target. The others dug up in the ground over there. That can tell you a little bit about how you're shooting. This is the Easton 2013. I think that shot the best out of all of them. Two of my arrows didn't even hit the target. Wonderful. But again, that's because of the way they were weighted or spined. They're just not right for this bow, so I'm gonna have to go and dig those out of the bush back there. Always too, when you're shooting, make sure there's no houses or people or anything behind your target. That way, if you do miss like I just did, you're not going to have a situation where you could put somebody at risk or in danger. But again, overall, I mean, this is a good shooting bow. It feels good. The colors are beautiful. I mean, look at this riser, man, if you can see that. I mean, it's just a beautifully well-constructed bow. I like it. The aesthetics are nice. It's very pleasing. The grip is very nice on it. Again, it just fits really nice in the hand. The thing that I'm disappointed with this bow is, again, the draw weight. I ordered a 45-pound bow because that's what I like to shoot. Now the 50's not different for me. I mean, you're increasing 5 pounds, but where that makes a difference is when it comes to your arrows. Now, if I decide to keep this bow, what I'm gonna have to do is go buy new arrows. I know, shame, right? But I didn't really want to have to reinvest in arrows just to get a new bow and shoot it, especially one that I've been waiting on this long. But overall, great bow, good price, $110 on Amazon, or you can pick it up at other retailers, of course. And it's well constructed. I mean, it seems to be a solid bow. The limbs fit very nice. The pins are well placed. The pin holes in the limbs themselves drilled really nice snug fit. Nothing loose, nothing floppy, so you're not going to get any kind of back and forth on your limbs once you get mounted. Limb bolt's a good solid fit in there. No issues whatsoever. Again, overall it's a great bow. It's just the bow weight that really has got me bummed out. I had such high hopes for this, and I was so excited for this, but now I'm going to have to redo my arrows collection and get some arrows that I can shoot with this. And until then, I'm not going to be shooting this bow. So if you're looking for a good entry-level bow, it's a hit or miss, and it's a, buyer beware or buyer use caution. Just understand that if you order this bow, from what I've heard and what I've read and what I've experienced now for myself, is you may get either an over poundage or an over pound bow than what you were expecting, or you're going to get something that's under pounded for what you're expecting. But again, be safe when you're out there shooting. Test your equipment before you get out there with it. Inspect it. Make sure everything's good with it. You don't want to put yourself in an unsafe situation or others in an unsafe situation. So overall, as you could tell by the shooting, it wasn't the greatest in the world. Two of my arrows, like I said, didn't even hit target. And that's because they're not spined right, or they're not weighted right for this bow. Overall, the bow itself is a good bow. I mean, it shoots good. There's no hand shock. The noise you're hearing from this is, of course, this is just an endless loop string. There's no silencers. There's nothing on there to kind of quiet that down. I am disappointed with it, though. I'm very disappointed with this bow, and the reason I'm disappointed is because of this. They said it was a 45-pound bow. It's a 50-pound bow. And that is running into a lot of situations, or could run into a lot of dangerous or bad situations for new archers out there who don't maybe have a way to test the poundage of their bow by doing what I did, using a poundage scale and then testing at 28 inches draw, figuring out that this was a 50-pound bow. And I knew that as soon as I pulled it back the first time, because that's a little bit more than 45 pounds. But again, I had high hopes for this bow, and it's still a good shooter. So it just means that I'm going to have to either do one of two things. I'm going to have to reinvest in some different weight arrows, which is not a bad thing, or I'm going to have to contact the manufacturer and send this back to get the proper weight limbs that I need to shoot for what I have set up now. But even with that being said, I don't know if I trusted enough to send this back in to get the proper weight bow that I requested. And I know it seems like it's petty, worrying about 5 pounds, but for me it's a serious thing, because again, if you're a new archer and you don't know to think about or to test some of these things, that's what's running into, I believe, some of this damage in the limb tips or the limbs delaminating themselves. Because if you're using the wrong arrow, you run into a dry fire situation, and a dry fire situation will destroy your bow and could put you potentially at risk for serious injury. So for all you new archers out there, think about that. And if it's any question as to what you actually got, you know, make sure that you have it tested out. If you're not able to do it yourself, go to your local archery shop or your local sporting goods store. They should be able to help you out. And if not, then I would say, if there's anything in question with your equipment, send it back. Get your money back, invest in something else. For the price you pay for this, $110 on Amazon, it's still a good bow. You just have to be careful, because apparently they've got some QC issues at the factory where they're putting these out, and they're really not testing the limbs as far as what I think. That's my personal opinion. Again, this is not fact. This is my theory. And I think they're just pushing these out there. And again, at the price point, I mean, I know the saying is you get what you pay for. I hate that saying, but it's still a good bow. Overall, I'm impressed with it. I love the color. The color is beautiful. It's well put together, well machined. You know, the riser is beautiful. It fits great. The grip fits great in your hand. So again, I can't say anything negative about that. It's just the quality control in sending this thing out. And I think that's going to get somebody seriously hurt one day. So I'm on the fence whether I'm going to keep it or not. Be safe out there when you're shooting. Test your equipment. Always double check. Make sure you know what you're shooting. Make sure you know what your equipment can and cannot do. So thank you so much for coming by. For my subscribers, thank you for all the comments you've been posting. I really appreciate that. You guys are phenomenal in the comment section. So let me know what you think about this bow. Let me know if you own this bow and what you've experienced with it. Let me know if you kept it or if you sent it back. Again, I'm on the fence with it. So again, thank you for being my subscribers. Thank you for checking out my content and coming by and hanging out with me for a little while. And if you're new to my channel and you're just now stumbling in here and finding me, and you like the content that you see, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if this video is worthy of a like, give it a thumbs up. And if not, give it a thumbs down. Hey, either way, I'm good. But thank you so much for coming by. I hope you have a great day, a better day tomorrow, and a wonderful week ahead of you. And until next time.